What is going on in the state of hip hop? Do you know that Young Thug is out here doing tweet and deletes, calling Kid Cudi a boy that ain't never been in the streets, a rat? Thank you, Young Thug, for exposing the fact that because of Fulton County's corruption, Brian Still got you off. And speaking of Brian Still, you know Judge Aaron put Brian Still in his place. He let them know, don't you dare bring in that Fulton County antics into this Southern District of New York courtroom. Literally, the judge in the Diddy trial told Brian Still, baby, you don't run me and you best mind your manners. Brian Still couldn't do anything but say, okay, thank you, Your Honor, and sat down. And Judge Aaron was like, let's get into this. First of all, let's talk about Young Thug, right? First of all, Young Thug, shut up. What is going on with these generation of men? You basically exposed yourself and you're letting us know how the Cassie thing happened. Y'all got ish to say about Diddy. You don't got itch to say about the way he treats women. You don't got itch to say about the way he treats men. That's cool. But somebody gets up on a federal stand and actually tries to clean up the community and get a predator off these streets that are affecting women and men of all races, and you calling him a rat? So let me just break a few things down before we get into the way Brian Still and Judge Aaron, Diddy's judge, was like, don't bring that Southern mess into this Northeast courtroom. First of all, let's just break it down. These people talking about don't snitch, don't snitch, don't snitch. You realize that back in the day, when people said don't snitch, and I'm talking about back in the day when you couldn't even trust the white police officers or sheriffs because of racism, you realize we cleaned our own communities, right? You realize that if somebody was doing something, we had our own enforcers that would come in and hand out justice that was fair, but also kept the community safe. I feel like these people talking about, you a snitch, you a snitch, you a snitch. It's like, you're a snitch. And people sound like, let me slow down. Your job as a thug is to protect the community, right? It's to protect the community. That's what thugs and all this street guys, that's what they used to be back in the day when they had honor. I'm talking about back in the day when they was wearing zoot suits and hats. The fact that you think that y'all do not have any responsibility to make our communities better, safer, give back, police the predators. And the fact that you think that if somebody is a predator, they should be able to run free. But if anybody does anything to correct it, which won't be you because y'all never do it because y'all don't snitch, then you posting that somebody is a snitch, trying to shame, humiliate, and mock Kid Cudi, but more importantly, you are trying to corrupt another generation that might see that post and be like, oh, so it's wrong to talk to the government? It's wrong to do this? You are trying to corrupt. Why? My guess, because you want to be able to do what you want on the street and everybody keep their mouth shut. It's a different type of abuse, but it's still abusive. But let me just break it down to these wannabe thugs. Snitching is when two people are involved in the exact same stuff. And the reason nobody likes snitches is because you was right next to me, letting that chopper sing. But we get caught. And in order to save your own butt, you tell on me. And who cares if you tell on me, but it's the fact that you told on me so that you wouldn't have to face the music. You literally were right there, partners in crime, until we got caught, and then you sold me out and acted like you were innocent. That's a snitch. The person must be a criminal. They must be involved in the same criminal activity. They must say, and the thing that makes a snitch so repulsive is because we're looking at them like, no. Both of y'all deserve to be punished. No. Put him up on the stand. It seems very unfair that someone that played an equal part will now snitch and then they don't get punished too. That's why we don't like snitches. That's what a snitch is. You cannot be a criminal or a predator or a monster and look at someone who made the pursuit of happiness. And hear me out, Kid Cudi ain't no punk at all. But I'm sick of people acting like because people are sensitive, people are emotionally intelligent, people actually talk to the police, people show up and testify against monsters. I'm sick of y'all trying to turn that into, oh, you soft. What's a thug? What's a real man? Somebody like future 50-year-old talking about popping perks? What makes a real man? Somebody that had a girl, Mariah the Scientist, which, by the way, her new song is Chef's Kiss. She don't deserve her, but Mariah loved that man, so none of my business, right? someone that literally got caught up because of the shit you were doing, had a good woman by your side, and literally was talking trash about, oh, she scared me, she loved me too much. You don't even know how to take the love of a woman that's down for your side. And these thugs, these wannabe men, these thugs are out here talking trash and trying to make it seem like the wrong person, the soft person, the weak person is the strongest one up there, that don't gotta go around with their D swinging, don't gotta go with bravado, literally emotionally intelligent, supportive, tried to help Cassie, and now you get up on the stand and you do something that none y'all in the industry could do, and that's tell the truth about Diddy, and you got the nerve to call him a snitch. Ladies and gentlemen, right? I don't know what you into. We have to start uplifting the type of partner we want. If that's the type of man you want, right? If that's the type of man you have, then we need to start flooding Kid Cudi's comments and sending a thing to these thugs that have literally run rampant in music and trying to say that they are the culture when they are putting these negative things that don't do anything but put money in their pockets. Honestly, I stand with Kid Cudi, and Young Thug, I'm glad he deleted that. But the fact that he even posted it, he wanted to do a post and delete. Even though you need to realize you were literally one comment away from having your bail revoked. I know you did the big one with Brian Still, and Brian Still is a great attorney, but let's be real, Fulton County and that corruption is what got you free, and they are looking to get their lick back. You need to stop literally promoting illegal behavior. He got subpoenaed. You a snitch? Really? Anyway, let's also talk about Brian Still, because that part was a little bit, it was a little bit much, right? Judge Aaron literally told Brian Still he can sit himself down right now after they demanded a mistrial over a statement that was never made. The judge looked at him and said, baby, you don't get to put me on notice. And Brian Still was like, I'm just saying. Again, don't bring that Fulton County corrupt mess into this good old pinnacle of bastion of purity, Northeast Southern District of New York courtroom. Again, I was standing on this 10 toes down. Young Thug got off because Fulton County was dirtier and playing dirtier than he did. That's why you got off. Anyway, right? His lawyer, Brian Still, asked for a mistrial today after prosecutors asked Kid Cudi if he had safety concerns. Let me get this straight. You want a mistrial because a man that testified that his house was broken into, Christmas presents ripped open, and his dog was traumatized. If he felt like he had safety concerns after his car got caught on fire, they tripping. Brian Still told the judge that the answer is about to be that Mr. Combs has had other people killed. This is an outrageous question. But here's the thing, Brian, how do you know Diddy had other people killed, and how do you know what the answer was? I'm very, very, very interested to hear. Go on, counselor. Anyway, Brian Still said, may I? The court, yes. Your Honor, I'm going to move for a mistrial. The government knows the answer is about to be that Mr. Combs has had other people killed. This is an outrageous question. Judge, but he didn't say that, Mr. Still. Brian, but he will say that. The court, but he hasn't said that. Brian, well, he's about to say it. I'm putting the court on notice. Judge Aaron, no, you don't get to put me on notice. I said, literally, I was in the back like he ate that all the way up. He said, you don't get to put me on notice. There's no grounds for any kind of application along those lines because no question that you're talking about has been asked and the answer has not been given. Now, what is your objection to the question that was asked? Brian, why were you scared of Mr. Combs? And his answer is going to be because Mr. Combs is violent and he has had other people killed. The court, his understanding of the things that had happened and his understanding of that event is not a 404A issue, which was raised, correct? Because when you object, you have to say there's a federal rule of civil procedure, Rule 403, 401, 404, 403 is hearsay. That is the most common federal rule of civil procedure everybody knows. So when you say, Your Honor, I object, you have to say exactly on what grounds. Judge Aaron also checked them and said, and why you objected, there's no grounds for that objection, okay? He goes on to say, Mr. Soul said, it's not going to be it's not like that. The judge, that was the objection that was raised. So what is the objection? Brian. He called his friend. This is what is in the 3500. I know the court read it. He calls his friends who told him that Diddy had other people killed. I believe that's going to be his answer why he was so scared. I'm preempting it because I know the court, if he says it. The judge interrupted him. Stop right there. That's the way you raise the issue? Okay. Brian. Well, yes, I just wanted to give you a preview. The court. Now, Mr. Still, what further questions do you have for Ms. Johnson? Ms. Johnson, that's Emily Johnson, the U.S. attorney. He said, now what further questions do you have, counselor? He literally cut Brian off and was like, anyway, U.S. attorney's back to you. She said, I don't have further questions on this, and I don't believe that's what he would say. I was specifically directing this to the end of the relationship and his concern at that time. The court. Well, to be fair, you asked the question. You got the answer. And Mr. Still, your point is, let's just move on, right? Mr. Still, please, the court. Okay, so now that I say it, let's move on. Y'all listen. There is so much going on. Young Thug should be ashamed of himself, but I'm sick of these people that the powers that be in the music industry have let them elevated to the fact of they now trying to tell us that somebody starting to stop an abuse against women is a snitch. Baby, let's bring back snitching. Snitching ain't easy, but it sure is fun. Anyway, y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.